Folks, we're going to start in just a sec, just getting a couple of technical issues ironed out. Thank you for your patience. Good morning, everyone. My name is Councillor Stephen Holliday. I'm the chair of the Etobicoke York Community Council. We have quorum. I'm now calling meeting 15 to order. Welcome, everyone. Today's meeting is being held by video conference and in person at the Etobicoke Civic Center in the council chamber. This meeting is also being live streamed online at youtube.com/Toronto City Council Live. Although we may be meeting in different locations today, Community Council would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. If you are registered to speak at today's meeting, please listen for me to call your name. I will call speakers in the order they appear on the list. The list of speakers can be viewed online by visiting the Etobicoke York Community Council page at toronto.ca/council and clicking the speakers box for today's meeting. Members, the city clerk has provided all agenda materials on toronto.ca/council and on the CMP, the clerk's meeting portal. Clerk's IT staff are available to members if you need help with your devices. I also want to remind you to please submit and approve your motions by email. Staff are available at etcc@toronto.ca to help with motions. Are there any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? If you do have an interest, please indicate the item number and the nature of the interest. Seeing none, we will proceed. May I have a motion to confirm the minutes from our meeting on June 3rd, 2024? Councillor Nunziata moves. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Before we go through the agenda items, I'll make two quick announcements. The first, I want to welcome the Director of Toronto Building, Frank Sturpey. Welcome to the chamber. Welcome back, maybe. It's good to see you. And I also just note to folks, we're having some trouble with the standard timer that we have that shows both in the room and on the online version. So we're going to run the manual system here. I'll just ask folks, if anyone's listening online, I'm going to do my best to cue you and help you keep track of the 5 minutes. And if we get it up and running, that would be great. And so those ones seem to be working in the room, no problem. But you'll just have to keep an eye on those clocks up there. Okay, so we'll now go through the items. Our first item is EY 15.1, 1575, Lawrence Avenue West Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application Decision Report. And we have speakers for that, so that will be held. EY 15.2 is 955 to 975 Weston Road Official Plan Amendment and Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application. We have speakers for that, so that will be held. EY 15.3, 37 Shorncliffe Road Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application Decision Report. Deputy Mayor Morley, there are no speakers on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, we'll be moving staff recommendations on this item.
Deputy Mayor Morley moves staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.4 is 1175 to 1181 Weston Road Official Plan Amendment and Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application Decision Report. Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, I'll move the staff recommendation.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.5, 7 to 17 Locust Street Official Plan Amendment and Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application Decision Report. Councillor Nunziata.
Move staff recommendation.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.6, 514, 520, 522 Royal York Road Residential Demolition Application. Councillor Morley.
Moving staff recommendations. Yep, sorry. So approve the application to demolish the vacant residential building with following conditions. Construction fences be erected in accordance with the provisions of the Municipal Code, Chapter 363, if deemed appropriate, as well as that all debris and rubble be removed immediately after demolition. And C, that sod be laid on the site and that the site be maintained free of garbage and weeds in accordance with Municipal Chapter 629-10, and that any holes in the property are backfilled with clean fill.
Deputy Mayor Morley, Thank you. So there's a bit of an echo, so it sounds like the mic's on, but anyways, thank you. Deputy Mayor Morley moves option number 3, which is the approval with conditions. All those in favor, any opposed, and that item carries. Our next item is EY 15.7, which is 31 Flindon Road. Application to remove a city tree. We have a speaker, and I have been in touch with Councillor Peruzza. He has some intentions with that, so I'll hold this down right now, and I'll just see if we can coordinate with that speaker, because I believe there's a request to move this into the future. But we'll hold that for now. EY 15.8 is 18 West Palm Court, application for fence exemption. We have a speaker on this as well, so I will hold that, and we will get to that shortly. EY 15.9, 34 Smithfield Drive, request for a fence exemption. We also have a speaker on that, so we'll hold that item. EY 15.10. That is 56 Coney Road, request for fence exemption. Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have an approval with an alternate, or with a condition rather. So we're looking to grant the application for a fence exemption permit with conditions to improve the sight lines to the property. to direct the fence to be maintained in good repair. And there was also a conversation, apologies to the clerk, just with respect to one of the elements of the fence here. It is a spiked fence, and one of the conditions was also to, not this one, sorry, wrong one, sorry, thanks, Joy. All good. So the recommendations in front of you around improving of sightlines is the condition. Thank you.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Morley moves approval with condition. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.11, Assumption of Services, Registered Plan 66M-2533, Longbranch Avenue in Eastwood Park Gardens, Lakeshore EMPC 2 Limited, 2226704, Ontario Incorporated, Minto 3600, Lakeshore Commercial Incorporated, Stockton 3600, Lakeshore GP Incorporated, 3600 Lakeshore GP Incorporated. Councillor Morley.
We'll be following staff recommendations on this item.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.12, Assumption of Services, Registered Plan 66M-2546, Edward Horton Crescent, Augustus Terrace, Thomas Fisher Drive, Tiffany Park Homes, Islington Limited. Councillor Morley.
Moving staff recommendations, Mr.
Councillor
Chair.
Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. EY 15.13, Meadowvale Drive and Humbervale Boulevard Always Stop Control. Councillor Morley.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this was at the request of local residents. We thank staff for their work and we'll be moving their recommendations.
Deputy Mayor Morley moves staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.14, Metrolinx Eglinton Crosstown LRT Traffic Control Signals at Eglinton Avenue West and Keelsdale Road. Councillor Nunziata.
So I'd like to hold it down for questions to staff.
Okay, Councillor Nunziata is holding that item. EY 15.15, Renault Crescent Traffic Calming Speed Humps. That would be mine, and I will move the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. EY 15.16, Bloor Street West, St. Clement Catholic School Speed Limit Amendment. We have a speaker registered, so I'll hold that item. EY 15.17, Silverstone Drive and Beaconhill Road, all-way stop control. Do we have a member willing to move this one?
Wants me to move the staff recommendation.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that carries. EY 15.18, Accessible Parking Spaces, July 2024. Councillor Morley or Councillor Nunziata, who's first to the microphone? Right.
I'm happy to move staff recommendations, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.19, Mimico GO Station Area, Buckingham Street and Windsor Street, parking amendments. Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This has been a longstanding challenge for the community, more parking at Mimico Go. We've been working with staff on it and would like to move their recommendations.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. EY 15.20. This is also Mimico GO Station Area, Newcastle Street and Audley Street parking amendments. Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll be moving staff recommendations.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. EY 15.21, 31st Street parking amendments. Councillor Morley.
Again, shout out to staff for their great work. This is in collaboration with one of our local schools at James S. Bell and just working to better manage the on and off board traffic for students, and we'll be following staff recommendations.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. EY 15.22, Cabot Court, pay and display parking. Councillor Morley.
Following staff recommendations.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.23, Lakeshore Boulevard West, pay and display parking. Councillor Morley.
We'll be moving staff recommendations.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. EY 15.24, 230 Royal York Road, construction staging area. Councillor Morley.
I believe we've submitted a motion to withdraw this item at this time. There's just some ongoing work on the back end, and we'll look forward to having it in a future meeting. We're waiting for a report and some other permits before this piece.
So Councillor Morley moves withdrawal from the EY 15.24. Councillor Morley moves withdrawal of EY 15.24 from the agenda. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.25 is 12 to 20 Cordova Avenue construction staging area. We do have a speaker on that, so we'll hold that item. EY 15.26 is 15 and 35 Treehorn Drive encroachment agreement. That's mine. I'll thank the staff for that, and I'll ask for your support. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. EY 15.27, 20 Thomas Riley Road, designation of fire routes, and amendment to Chapter 880 fire routes. Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Removing staff recommendations.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. EY 15.28, 225 Birmingham Street, designation of fire routes, and amendment to Chapter 880 fire routes. Councillor Morley.
We'll be following staff recommendations on this item.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.29, 440 Evans Avenue, designation of fire routes, and amendment to Chapter 880 fire routes. Councillor Morley.
With thanks to staff, we'll be moving their recommendations.
Councillor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 15.30, 140 the Queensway residential demolition application.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Excuse me, the clerk does remind me that needs to be added as new business.
Yeah.
So to move that as added as new business? Okay, that's on the agenda. Councillor Morley?
Yes, we are excited about this particular application, and this is to approve their demolition permit to go ahead and move the project forward. We'll be following staff recommendations.
And so is that option 2 or 3?
Option 2 or 3.
2 is without conditions, 3 is with conditions.
Without conditions.
So option 2 without, Deputy Mayor Morley moves option number 2, which is approve the application to demolish the 2 vacant residential buildings at 140 the Queensway without conditions. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. But wait, there's more. EY 15.31. 15.31 is parking regulation amendments Pine Street between Church Street and Woodward Avenue from Councillor Nunziata. So move to add as new business. All those in favor? Any opposed? Councillor Nunziata?
Yes, I would just like to move the recommendation to amend the existing prohibition in effect at all times on the east side of Pine Street and a point of 70.1 meters north of Church Street and Woodward Avenue to be in effect between Church Street and Woodward Avenue.
Councillor Nunziata moves the recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Okay, we'll go back to the top of the agenda. Our first item is EY 15.1, 1575 Lawrence Avenue West, zoning bylaw amendment application, decision report. We do have a speaker, Stephen Kwai, if I've got that right, or Key. And Stephen's online. Welcome, Stephen, to the Etobicoke York Community Council. It's Stephen Holiday, the chair. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning, members of the public and community council. My name is Stephen Chi, and I am an associate at Design Plan Services. We're the applicant of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment for the property municipally known as 1575 Lawrence Avenue West. So this application took a while to come to this stage. I would like to thank Councillor Nunziata for arranging 2 community consultation meetings and communicating with us. I would also like to thank staff for working with us to bring this proposed zoning bylaw amendment in front of the community council today. We'll continue to work with staff on the site plan approval application and bring the project to life in the near future. Thank you, and I'm available to answer questions.
Thanks, Stephen. My apologies that I mispronounced your name, but
No.
It's Stephen Chi. Thank you. Any questions of the speaker? Seeing none, thank you for joining us today. Are there any other speakers on 1575 Lawrence Avenue West? Seeing none, questions of staff? Seeing none, members wishing to speak, Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, I do have an amendment. that staff has helped me draft that up. City Council requests the mayor to consider allocating any community benefits charge funds collected from this development to public realm improvements in the Lake BIA within Ward 5, York South Weston, through the annual budget process immediately following the payment of the funds to the city. And I'll move the staff recommendation. As it was mentioned by the deputy, this application came in 2020. So, and there wasn't officially, we did have a meeting at that time. It was a virtual meeting, but being that it was 4 years since the application has come forward, I suggested to staff, and they said yes, and the applicant, we have another one, just in case people forgot. 4 years ago, attending a meeting. So we did have that meeting, and we did have a few people. There were no concerns at the meeting. They were very supportive, and so I'm moving the recommendation. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Nunziata. So we have an amendment. So all those in favor of the amendment? The amendment is carried. And on the item as amended, all those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. Thank you very much. EY 15.2 is our next item. 955 to 975 Weston Road, official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment application. This is a decision report. We have speakers registered. Our first speaker is Daniel Tepperman from Haven Developments.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon. I wish to
Hello, Daniel. Welcome.
Hi. Can you hear me?
We can very well. Please go ahead.
Good morning, fellow council members. I'm here on behalf of the ownership of the project. We want to thank staff for their hard work and determination, and Councilor Nunziata for helping us. And I'm here to answer any questions if need be. I appreciate all the hard work from various departments and staff members.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions of the speaker? Seeing none, thank you for joining us today. Our next speaker is Jessica Yee from Bousfields Incorporated. Jessica's online. Welcome, Jessica. It's Stephen Holiday. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, confirming that you can hear me.
You sound great. Please go ahead as soon as you're ready.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair and Council members. My name is Jessica Yee, and I'm a land use planner at Bousfields Inc., and we're the planning consultant on behalf of the owner. My colleague, Mike Jor, is also here to answer any questions. I will be brief, but to reiterate what Mr. Tepperman has said, this is a really exciting project that is going to be a great addition to the Mount Dennis neighborhood. We are here in full support of the staff recommendations. Some of the key highlights of this project include 5,005 square feet of community agency space, a new 1,463 square meter public park. The project will include 984 new dwelling units, and the proposal implements the vision of the Mount Dennis secondary plan in terms of providing for a mid-rise built form along Weston Road and taller heights in the back along the rail corridor. We also want to thank staff, especially Rabia Ahmed, Elizabeth Silver-Stewart, and Allison Reid for their collaborative efforts to get this project to this place. And both myself and my colleague, Mike Jor, are available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the speaker? Seeing none, thank you for joining us today. Our next speaker is Mike Dror from Bousfields. Is Mike in the chamber or online? Mike's online. Good morning, Mike. Stephen Holiday from the Community Council. Can you hear us okay?
Good morning, everyone. And I won't need to speak, but my colleague Jessica has already covered it. But thank you very much. And again, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions of the speaker? Seeing none, thank you for joining us. Are there any other speakers on this item for 955 to 975 Weston Road official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment applications? Seeing none, questions of staff? Seeing none, to speak, Councilor Nunziata.
Again, when you have meetings, you get everyone to support of it. Again, this one actually came in 2005 originally. So it's been there for a while. The buildings there were demolished, and then a pre-application form came. application came in again in 2021, and my staff has been working with the planning staff and with the applicant. And as it was mentioned, we're getting parkland, which is very much needed in that area. That's part of the Mount Dennis secondary plan. And so I want to thank the applicant, a special thanks to the staff that's been working with them for quite a while now, and have come up with an agreement, and the applicant is supportive, and so is the city staff, so I will move the staff recommendation.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that item carries. Great. We are now on to EY 15.7, which is 31 Flindon Road. I have been in touch with Councillor Peruzza, who sends his regrets. I believe he's attending a funeral this morning. He requested that this item be deferred until September, the September meeting. Madam Clerk, have you had an opportunity to get a deferral motion ready? And I'm just going to check, because before we move that, I do have a speaker, which is Daniel Dessa. I know that there's been a connection. I'll check with Daniel if Daniel wants to speak now or speak at that meeting. Good morning, Daniel. It's Stephen Holliday from the Etobicoke York, the chair of the Etobicoke York Community Council. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
So Daniel, I got a message from Councillor Peruzza that he would like to have this item deferred. I'll give you the option. If you want to speak today, you can go ahead, but Councillor Peruzza is not available in the chamber. Alternatively, you can just wait till September.
Okay. Sure. I guess if it's only going to be decided in September, then I can just wait till September.
Yeah, and that'll give you a chance to talk to the councillor between now and then. If that's okay with you, you have the right to speak. It's just that the councillor's not here.
Yeah. So the only way that there's a decision is if the council is present.
No. Councillor Peruzza has just simply asked that the item be moved to the September meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And
because the problem is the problem is with the tree. It's really like I'm trying to finish my build with my home that me and my fiance moved into. So what really happened was, when I purchased the property, I bought the property with the blueprints, but the person that did the drawings for the house never included the tree on the plan. So when I finished the whole build, and
Mr. Dessa, if you want to speak, I can put you on the timer and you can go through it with the council. But
okay,
yeah,
okay, fine, okay, no problem.
Is that what you want to do, or do you want to wait?
Sure. No, I can speak now.
Okay, we'll let you go ahead. I will warn you, because it's not available through the internet because of a technical issue. You've got a 5-minute timer, and I'll just give you some advice when you get close to the end of that time, if you need it all. So please go ahead as soon as you're ready.
I'll be quick.
All right.
Okay, so what happened was, like I said, I've mentioned that me and my fiance, we purchased the property, and when we purchased the property, it came with the blueprints of the house. So we used those prints, and we created our home. And whatever, we finished it. We went through the construction. I actually built the house. We moved in, but now I'm in the landscaping part, right? And I wanted to finish off the project to get the final exterior inspection. But then when I ran into a problem with the tree not being. I wasn't sure if it was a city tree or not. But so then I got informed that the Etobicoke, the building people. And I had to apply for this and apply for that. So like I've been waiting for quite a while, since March, for an answer on this tree, because I can't finish my driveway, my front landscape, without figuring it out. And it's not like I can shrink my driveway smaller due to the tree. It would only leave me with like 3 or 4 feet. Nowadays, cars are in 3 or 4 feet, right? And it's been a hassle. Like I can't even park. I can't finish. I have gravel on the driveway right now. Every time I walk into the house, my feet are all full of mud, all full of rocks. Like I don't mind on keeping the tree. Maybe I can, if I'm not approved to remove it, like maybe damaging the roots or something, just so I can finish my landscape. Because I'm stuck right now. I can't finish the project, and I keep getting everything full of mud and dirt in the house and on the property. And every time my car drives in, drives out, I dirty the street. And I'm pretty sure my neighbors aren't too happy with that, right? So I always got to go and grab a shovel and clean up the dirt and the rocks from cars coming in and coming out.
Great. Thank you for speaking to us. Are there any questions of the speaker? Seeing none. Any questions? Thank you for joining us. Any questions of staff on the item?
Oh, and I forgot one.
It's okay. It's okay. We were just doing a technical check here. I'll just allow the clerk a moment. So I think we have Councillor Perruzza connected. I'm just going to check to see if he can hear us okay. Councillor Perruzza, are you available? No. Okay. All right. Any questions of staff? Seeing none. Members wishing to speak? Seeing none. Councillor Perruzza has been in contact with me, and he has asked that this...
Mr. Chair,
great.
Mr. Chair.
Councillor Perruzza,
Mr.
go ahead.
Perruzza, yeah, I'm here. I apologize. I can't turn on my camera. I don't have a great deal of bandwidth. Mr. Chair, I just would like to move this matter to September. I know the constituent is anxious to get his either approval or denial, but I just want to be able to go through the both the report and the conditions in the report with him. So I'd ask the committee's indulgence to give me an opportunity to do that. Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, Councillor Perruzza moves deferral of this item until September 2024 meeting of the Etobicoke York Community Council. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Our next item is EY 15.8, which is 18 West Palm Court, application for fence exemption. I will check. We do have a speaker registered, which is Teresa Tedesco. I had got a message that there had been some contact with the speaker. Is Teresa available anywhere? Great. Teresa, did you want to talk to us? I know we've got Councillor Perruzza connected.
Sure.
Mr. Chair, if I can, just for the sake of time.
Go ahead, Councillor.
I'm happy to move I'm happy to move the alternate recommendation to approve the fence exemption without conditions. So I'd like to put that motions before the committee, and if Teresa's happy with that, maybe she doesn't have to speak.
If you want to speak, you can. If you don't want to speak, you know what the councillor is going to be moving in a second.
No, I'm
Okay.
quite happy with that because I was just asking for the exemption.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So questions of staff? Sorry, I should ask. Anyone else here to speak on this item? Seeing none. Questions of staff? Seeing none. To speak, Councillor Perruzza.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I visited the site. As you can see, it's a beautiful fence. The applicant is happy with it because the neighbors are happy with it as well. So, and the variance is only for a small portion of the fence. I believe about 20% of the fence or so. So happy to put that before you.
Okay. Councillor Perruzza moves the alternate recommendations. Excuse me. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Thank you very much. EY 15.9 is 34 Smithfield Drive, request for fence exemption to the Toronto Municipal Code, Chapter 447. We do have a speaker, Henry Dudkowski. Is Henry online? Or in the chamber? Good morning, Henry. Mr. Dudkowski, Stephen Holiday, Chair of the Etobicoke.
Can you hear me?
We can. Welcome to the Community Council. We hear you loud and clear. You can go ahead as soon as you're ready. You have 5 minutes.
I submitted a letter with my concerns. My concerns is that it concerns people mostly on both sides of this property, which we actually own. We own 32 and 36. My mother, who is 95, she is really upset about it. It blocks the sunlight. There's no wind going through it. And it really serves no purpose. The 6-foot fence, which was allowed, it works great. And the gentleman did do a beautiful job on the 6-foot fence. But the 8-foot, it's just out of place. It's a park setting area with mature trees grow. We have a problem growing a garden that we used to do before in limited amount. And it was beautiful to sit back and just enjoy the view. The gentleman does not live in that house. And basically, that's it. So he's done what he's done. And I was the person who complained about it. My mother, who is 95, she has lived in that house since 1978. And it's been a beautiful area to sit out. And right now, just a view of it, it is not right. And there might be people who support him and all that, but basically, the neighbors do not support it from my information. And it affects both people on both sides who've been there living there for a long, long time. So I respectfully ask the council to really consider our rights to enjoy what we had for the last 45 years or so, and to continue having that. But otherwise, the gentleman, like I mentioned, he did a beautiful job with the fence to the 6-foot level. And I'd like to thank the council for giving me the time to consider this and to speak on our behalf. So thank you, Chairman and honorable members of the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dutowski. Are there any questions of the speaker? Seeing none. Mr. Dutowski, I'll just advise you, you mentioned that you had submitted a letter. We do not have a record of that. You may wish to follow up with the clerk if you want to file something, but I just wanted to advise that for one reason or another, that hasn't made its way through. So I'll leave you with that, and thank you for joining us today. Are there any other speakers on 34 Smithfield Drive? Seeing none. Questions of staff?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Mr. Chairman.
okay. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Mr. Chairman.
If
My name is Paul Andre.
Sorry?
My name is Paul Andre.
Mr. Andre, if I could just ask to make sure that you register with the clerk once you're done, that'd be great.
Sure, no problem.
Welcome to the Community Council. You've got 5 minutes. Please go ahead.
Good morning. I'm just here in regards to the fence exemption, and I've had several issues through the rear of the property. And this is why I put an 8-foot fence at the rear and some break-ins, and for the safety and security of my family. I've also installed security cameras along the whole property. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the speaker? Councilor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Andre, for joining us. When you put up that fence, did you check in on the height requirements with the city?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, I did not.
But you have since been visited by our department, and
Yes,
they've
I have.
advised you of what the discrepancy is
regulations, yes.
between, right? Can I just ask you as well, my understanding is you have spikes at the top of the fence, is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. How much extra height do the spikes give the fence?
3
Not
inches.
much, just a little bit.
3 inches.
Okay, okay,
I can take them off if it's an issue.
okay. And then just my final question, if you're comfortable to just share what some of the nature you mentioned, you've had some issues
I
that
found
you
drug
felt.
paraphernalia behind the garage, bottles, and I've had to break into the garage already because of the rear.
Okay,
I'm almost caught whoever broke in.
Right, so to deter some of this kind of behavior and
Yeah.
violation on your property. Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you. I'm going to ask some questions of staff as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Seeing none. Questions of staff? Councilor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to staff, I just wanted to check in with respect to the height on this fence. Is it in violation throughout? I know sometimes when there are different grading things it could be. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the context of this height?
It is stepped fence, so it's different heights throughout. The highest measurement is 2.57 meters in height, and it is throughout, though it's stepped in different levels.
Okay. With respect to the spikes on the fence, can you talk to me about how that comes into play with respect to our bylaw? Is it allowed? Is it not allowed?
It is not permitted. Normally, if we get a complaint, we will address it through a property standards order. I can say that a lot of people use that to deter animals and whatnot from coming over the fence into their yards. But we will, if we receive a complaint regarding it, we will address it through property standards.
Okay. And with respect to sight lines, I know sometimes sight lines and safety are an issue. We do know this is a rear yard fence. Can you just confirm if there are any issues related to sight lines?
No, there's no issues.
Okay. And then my final question is just with respect to shadow or shade impacts. I know the deputant, and I thank them for joining us, mentioned about some of the challenges with the rear garden, or with the garden, I guess, on their side. Do shade or shadow impacts come into play at all with our bylaws, strictly the height?
No, it's just the height and material that we are concerned with.
Okay. That's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Don't go away.
Yeah, sorry, more
A minute.
questions?
Yeah, I'll just check, are there other questions? Thank you. If I may, I'm going to just reset this timer, which takes a moment. I'm going to pass the chair to Councillor Nunziata.
Councillor Holiday, questions?
Thank you. I just want to make sure I understand the report. So the fence is typically allowed to be up to 2.0 meters, 2 meters.
2 meters in height.
In the report on the last page, there's a site plan, long, skinny property, and highlighted at the back is A1, A2, and A3. So is that this, I can turn my computer around if it saves you time, but is that the subject area of the fence exemption request?
It's, sorry if I may, it is the rear yard, north and south. I can't really see, unfortunately, my glasses, I can't even see this site plan.
I'm just trying to get an appraisal of how much of the property is 2-meter fence versus 2.5 meter fence.
In actuality, this report was written by my predecessor, who is no longer with us. So it appears to be, I would say throughout, if you could look on the north side, there is a step, I'm going to call it a step, which the fence is lower on that side. If you look at full attachment B, you will see where it does scoop down, and I am confident that that's the 2 meter height there, and then the rest goes around behind the garage and on the south side.
So the tall part is around the garage and the south side.
South side, and there is a section on the north side, but like I said, in attachment B,
right,
you will see where it comes down, like it steps down towards the, I'm going to say that, I don't know what kind of vehicle it is, right in front of that vehicle in the photo.
So the whole fence is not 2.57 meters, it's only
No,
part of it.
it's not.
Okay, and to me that was important to make a decision, so thank you for the clarity. Appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Okay. Any other questions to staff? Seeing none, to speak, Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, this one is, we're going to go ahead with the approval with condition for this particular fence exemption. As was mentioned, it is a stepped fence. It is not in violation throughout the entire portion. And while we appreciate the concerns from the neighbor to the rear, there's some, I think, good justification as to why there's some additional height for safety and access in this area. We are going to include a condition to remove the spikes, just because that, I think, is important for us to consider. And that is the motion I'll put before the council. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Morley moves to grant the exemption with conditions. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. Thank you. Next item is EY 15.14, Metrolinx Eglinton Crosstown LRT traffic control signals at Eglinton Avenue West and Keelsdale Road. That was held by Councilor Nunziata. Questions to staff?
Yes, just a question to staff. So I know that you've been working on this for a while, and we've had issues there on Eglinton and Black Creek. So can you just give us an update of where you are, and as far as will that signal allow left turns for vehicles? Because that's right where No Frills is, right? And when that traffic light was put up previously, there was a big issue, and we had to remove it. So if you can give me an update on what you're doing. And
good morning, Mr. Chair and the councillors. I introduce myself as Navi Tatkar. I'm the manager of transit infrastructure projects and transportation services. Thank you for your question, councillor. So this intersection is constructed by Metrolinx as per the approved environmental protection report from 2013, which protects the westbound left turn and northbound left turn for TTC buses only. Based on the recent discussion with your office, it has been brought to our attention that the northbound left turn should be shared with the general traffic, primarily from the no-frill shoppers. And based on my discussion with Metrolinx and TTC, we are going to be proceeding in that manner, temporarily opening this left turn for both the general traffic and the TTC buses.
previously, when that light was there, and then we got so many complaints, and we finally had it removed, is that there, when you were traveling on Eglinton going westbound, the light would be red, and it would be red for a long time, and you would have all this congestion on Eglinton past Black Creek, so it was very difficult, so we had that removed. So will the signal would it change through traffic, or is it going to be the way it was before, where it was 5 minutes, it was a red light?
So just to clarify, the westbound left turn will still be protected for the TTC buses, because if we don't, then there will be a potential queuing all the way up to Black Creek and Eglinton Avenue West. Now, Councillor, to answer your specific question, yes, these traffic signal timings will be coordinated both at Keelsdale and the Eglinton and Black Creek. So when there's a green at one of the intersection, the other one is also green to just make the travel flow as smooth as possible. So previously, when we temporarily opened this, it was not on a permanent coordinated signal timing plan. That's the reason that there was a congestion.
And that's why we had all those problems. So
correct.
For sure, guaranteed that's
I guarantee you
because we don't want all these complaints. And I mean, it was very congested at that intersection at Eglinton and Black Creek.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, I guarantee that we are going to have the northbound left turn at this intersection shared between the general traffic as well as the TTC buses. And we will coordinate the traffic signal timing between the intersections of Eglinton and Keelsdale and Eglinton and Black Creek to smoothen the traffic flow.
Okay, so being that we're putting in this traffic control signal, that tells me that the line is going to open soon? Why would we be putting the traffic light there?
Mr. Chair, that is the toughest
Is that sort of a message that we're going to be open that line soon, being that we're putting a signal?
You don't have to answer that.
I was just being...
I know.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions of staff? Seeing none.
Okay.
So,
I'll move the recommendation from Transportation Services, and there's a guarantee that we're not going to have that congestion there, because that's where the up and the go, right at the station. So thank you to staff.
Thank you. Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. Okay. Our next item is EY 15.16, Bloor Street West, St. Clement Catholic School, Speed Limit Amendment, Ward 2. And we have a speaker, Liz Murphy. Morning, Liz. Welcome to the Etobicoke York Community Council. You have 5 minutes to speak to us. Please go ahead as soon as you're ready.
Good morning, members of council and members of the public. My name is Liz Murphy. I am a concerned parent of St. Clement Catholic School, a member of the Traffic Safety Committee at St. Clement, and a community member. The parent council of our school and community members of Markland Wood have been requesting for many years various strategies and enhancements to improve safety of our most vulnerable, the pedestrians, children, and seniors. Congestion, safety, and speeding have been an ongoing issue on our stretch of Bloor Street in front of St. Clement for years. There is data showing a significant number of collisions, an observed history of motorists that run the amber and red lights, and charges from nearby automated speed enforcement in the past. Over the past few years, the parent council at St. Clement have asked the city for police enforcement, automatic speed enforcement, and/or a red light camera in front of the school, with no action as of yet. Rescinding the current speed limit of 40 kilometers an hour during specific times to 40 kilometers an hour at all times is a step in the right direction. It is a measure we are in favor of if it will allow for the addition of other measures like automatic speed enforcement and other Vision Zero strategies like pavement markings, enhanced signage to increase awareness to motorists they are entering a school zone. The current flashing beacons on both sides of Bloor Street are not effective, and most motorists ignore it. We witness motorists doing 50 kilometers an hour or more frequently, and additionally, running the red light at Bloor and Mapledon, which is where our award-winning school crossing guard is stationed. She was unable to attend today's meeting, but wanted me to reiterate on her behalf how unsafe this section of Bloor Street is for the reasons aforementioned, and that she is afraid for her own safety. That statement from one of the most trusted vigilant crossing guards in our area should give you an indication of how unsafe it is. She herself has called 22 Division to provide enforcement during school drop-off and pickup times. That's how concerned she is for the safety of our children and that of her own. We cannot stress enough how crucial it is to increase motorists' awareness that they are entering a school zone. Members of the community have provided feedback saying that unless you are a resident of the area, there is no indication there is an elementary school on that stretch of Bloor Street, especially when traveling east along Bloor Street. When the 40 kilometers an hour speed at certain times was implemented in 2014, that section of Bloor Street was defined as a minor arterial road, seeing a volume of 15,000 motorists a day. It was also thought that the cameras in nearby locations would provide a benefit effect. It hasn't. That stretch of Bloor is now defined as a major arterial road that sees a volume of 22,000 vehicles a day. I can also argue anecdotally that since 2014, there are probably more distracted drivers, aggressive drivers, and disorderly behaviors on the road now. Other school zones around St. Clement have visible strategies implemented on their roads and streets that are not as busy as ours. Driving through these zones with noticeable road markings and signs during my commute to work, I witnessed changes in driver behavior, i.e., drivers slowing down at these school zones. I was surprised that St. Clement lacked these strategies, even though we have been requesting safety measures at the school for years, and our school is located on a major arterial road. This is what led me on the quest with the city to push for much needed and long-awaited urgent safety measures in front of St. Clement. This stretch of Bloor is not only used by the students at St. Clement, but also families walking to other schools in the area and residents walking to the community plaza. These measures will positively enhance the safety for many in the area. We had a collision involving 2 children at the intersection of Bloor and Mill Road at 2023. Another intersection steps away from St. Clement, notorious for many collisions. Let's not be reactive, but proactive in reducing traffic-related incidents by adding the much-needed enforcement and utilize safety enhancement tools to improve safety for the St. Clement and broader community. I sincerely hope that if this recommendation is approved, there will be no additional delays in implementing other safety measures like automatic speed enforcement in our section of Bloor Street. Thank you, Councillor Holiday, for bringing this request forward, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. I really appreciate it. Don't go away. I want to ask a question to help with my colleagues, but I'll ask them first. Any questions of the speaker? No, I'll pass the chair.
Questions, Councillor Holiday?
Thank you. I just wondered if you could talk to my colleagues a little bit about this stretch of Bloor. So who's those 22,000 cars driving on it?
This was an email that was sent by, or actually it was in the staff report.
Yeah.
Put out by the city, the transportation department.
It's not 22,000 Markland Wood residents.
Sorry?
It's not 22,000 Markland Wood residents.
No.
Who do you think are the people that are traveling?
Well, it's a major arterial road, so it's people traveling to Mississauga. We're on the border of Mississauga, so it's people going home from work or going east along Bloor Street.
So a lot of people pass through this stretch.
Pass through, yes.
And if you could tell my colleagues a little bit about the road, is there a whole bunch of houses that face the street, or is it backlots?
By the school?
Yeah.
There are residential homes, yes, that back onto Bloor, yes.
But they back onto it. So it's one of those roads where it's sort of fences and setback, and one of those places where people pass through as opposed to stop. Would that be a fair description of it?
Well, the residents of Markland would stop. They turn on any one of the residential streets, but otherwise people are passing through, yes.
So perhaps one of the reasons why people move quickly through there is they don't feel that neighborhood feel. It's more like
any other part of Bloor Street.
Arterial, right?
Right.
There's nothing facing it.
No.
Okay. And indeed, would it be fair to say that a lot of school children still walk to St.
Yes. In our community, I have our co-chair here with me as well. I would say a majority of kids still walk to our school, yes.
Wonderful. Thanks for talking to the community council today. Appreciate it. Any other questions? No? All right. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
I wondered if I could ask a couple of questions of staff, just basic clarifications on this one, just so we know. Mr. Atkins, how long ago did they put the flashing beacon, and do you know the story behind it? I think it was 2014 that the speaker mentioned, but...
Yeah, it was somewhere in that time before
So
COVID.
what is meant by that is that the speed, just for the clarity of my colleagues, let's start my timer, the speed is timed, so it's only 40 kilometers an hour during certain days of the week and times of the day.
Yeah, I believe it's 8 to 5 during school days only, so even the summer is not
and so it's
not
otherwise
active.
50.
Yes.
And which
correct.
means on an arterial road with no houses facing it, people move. They move quick.
Correct.
Right. And so one of the complaints that had come forward was, there's no flashing light, there's no painting on the road, nobody can put an automated speed enforcement. And is it fair to say that's because of that timed speed?
Yes,
scenario?
correct. Yeah, the automated enforcement is not allowed where there's not a static speed limit.
So this report will set it at 40 and put it on an equal footing as all the other schools in the area.
Correct, yes.
And our automated speed people and our red light camera enforcement folks now can look at that on their list of places that could be eligible for that type of work, and they have a system to figure out where to put all those cameras.
Yes, correct.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, thanks for joining. Members wishing to speak? Yeah, I'll speak quickly.
Councillor Holiday to speak.
Thank you to Transportation Services for bringing the report forward. Fair to say, I've had the privilege of representing the Markland Wood community for some time, and Bloor Street has been a really difficult challenge. It's true what the speaker said. It's one of those sites where a lot of people pass through. People live in the community, but a lot of people move right through the center of this community because Bloor Street is down the middle. And everyone's in a hurry to go from where they're coming from the west to the east or vice versa. And that makes it really difficult when you're a school child trying to cross a really busy arterial road. And that's been one of the challenges with this stretch, as we covered in the questions, that it wasn't eligible for automated speed enforcement and some of the other measures because of that timed speed system. I guess that was better than the default. It may have helped, but this should bring it down to 40 on a permanent basis and put the school on an equal playing field with everyone else. So I hope you will share in support of the staff recommendations. I think it will be very helpful to the community, and I appreciate Ms. Murphy coming out and speaking, because I think there's a lot of people that are really happy about this report. So thank you. On the item, on the staff recommendations, all those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. Thank you. Our next item is EY 15.25, which is 12 to 20 Cordova Avenue construction staging area. And I believe we have a speaker, Adam Rogers. I don't see Adam in the chamber. So Adam, can you hear me? It's Stephen Holiday, Chair of the Etobicoke York Community Council. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can. Please go ahead. You have 5 minutes.
Okay. I'll keep this very short. Honestly, I completely understand this development needs to go through. I think everyone in the neighborhood is eager to get it started. The big concern, I flagged this with the Councillor Morley's office, and also spoke to Nathan from the Works team, who I give top marks for his willingness to take my call. Long story short, we have a lot of developments coming in this stretch of Cordova. So we have the one across from the school. We have the one at 12 Cordova that we're talking about right now. Plus we have one coming at 76 Central Park Road it's down the pipe. So we're going to have a lot of developments in this area, a lot of construction staging with a school right smack dab in the middle. I appreciate the staff has gone to great lengths to try to, provide safety measures, but I think this is just a very sensitive spot. A big concern that I flagged is that we mentioned the time of 8:50 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., but I do want to highlight that there is before school classes that go on at that school location. So it is something that maybe we can't build it into the actual staging, but it's something that I think the developer needs to be aware of, that if they bring trucks in early, there's kids walking, there's parents dropping off. The same is also after school. There's quite a few after school programs that run both for after school classes plus for the local Maybell community. Those they don't run every night necessarily, but the idea is that we have active students coming and going after the times listed there. So those are big considerations. And I've already flagged this with Nathan, but basically with all these developments coming through, there's just a real concern about how the traffic flow is going to be when you have the one lane. You have works on both sides of Cordova. It's going to be something that the city has to have keep an active eye on. This one is a real sensitive spot. Let's get it set up so they can get started. So the sooner they start it, the better. So then, and obviously this one's particularly tight to me because my daughter's supposed to be starting in this school within the next year, so she'll be going in this area for drop-offs. And one thing to consider, I don't speak to this directly, but I don't know the state of car drop-offs for students, but with this meta developments, that can be a bit of a tricky spot for morning drop-offs as well. So honestly, I don't envy the staff for having to go through this in a really tight spot like this. I'll be happy when this is all done and we have all these new members of our community, but it is something that the city has to be aware of. All right, unless there's any questions for me, I'll just stick around for a minute and then leave it to the councillors.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any questions of the speaker? Seeing none, thank you for joining us. Okay, questions of staff? Councillor Morley.
Not sure who to direct this to. Just around the staging aspect, the deputant mentioned some of the sensitivities. The area has grown quite significantly. There's still a couple of buildings under construction, in addition to the school, the pressure and the safety concerns with the school. I just was wondering if you could offer some comment about how we work to coordinate and make sure we're being sensitive to these these aspects.
Thank you, Councillor. Through the chair, yes, there are areas of the city, and this is one, where you have a confluence of a lot of applications hitting the ground kind of at the same time, and it does put a lot of pressure on the local road network and other pieces of our infrastructure. We do work with our commenting partners to try and coordinate this. We actually even talk to applicants about, hey, the one across the street's moving forward. You need to time with them because we can't close both sides of the street. So that kind of discussion does occur, but there's no question in some parts it's very impactful and creates congestion like here.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. Those are my questions. I'll just speak to the item.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions? Councillor Nunziata.
I know it's been brought up at a number of council briefings on the staging. I know the mayor has brought that up as well. So when they apply for a permit for the staging, the applicants, the permit is for, what is the length of time of the permit for the road lane closure?
Through the chair, City Planning Development Review Division itself doesn't manage that permit issue, so I can't speak to the time. I think it does depend on the scale of the project.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, smaller projects might be a much shorter period. We can, the example on the Queensway where that Costco project was, right? There was a lot of detailed work in making sure that the Queensway wouldn't get closed, that there might be a crosswalk there. So they're kind of unique circumstances depending on the scale of the project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any questions, so we'll go to speakers. Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the deputant for joining us today and for reaching out to my office with those concerns in advance. We do, as always, do our due diligence and continue to work closely with staff at all levels and all stages of development in our ward. We also have a direct line in with the local principal at Islington Junior Middle School and have worked closely with them on a number of projects and will continue to be available to help mitigate any potential issues that are coming up. But we will be moving staff recommendations on this item for them to proceed with the construction staging. And again, as always, we'll be keeping a close eye on it and are available to support if and as needed on a go forward.
Are there any other speakers? Seeing none, Deputy Mayor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. So we do have the introduction of bylaws. Madam Clerk, is it two motions that we have, or there's two motions? Okay. So we'll ask for a volunteer for the first one. Councillor Morley, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving that bills 727 to 737 and 740 prepared for the July 15th, 2024 meeting 15 of the Etobicoke York Community Council be declared as bylaws and passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. We have one more. Who wants to volunteer on the second one?
I can do it. Yeah. Okay, no worries.
Oh.
I'm moving that confirmatory bills to confirm the legislative proceedings of the Etobicoke York Community Council acting under delegated authority at meeting 15 on July 15th, 2024 be declared as bylaws and passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. That's the last item of business, and therefore we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.